What's up, YouTube? For the love of toys here with the for the love of collecting something different this time. Storm Arena Street Fighter Alpha 3 Ryu. Now, with Ryu, okay, with Ryu, I made a statement in one of my videos about a Jada Street Fighter figure. And I still stand by that to an extent. And I appreciate Jada and I applauded Jada for what they've done, okay, and what they've been able to do. But now that Storm Arena has come into the quote unquote arena, they're going to have to step it up. Them being, they being Jada. This Storm Arena figure is around the same price as the Jada. Well, I think Jada is 20. You know, they rarely sell for 20 on certain sites. So, but I think their price point is 20 and 30 for the deluxe. So, you know, that's a great price point. This comes in at $29.99. And when I say the comparison of the two figures, I mean, you'll see for yourself because as usual, I'll do my, multiple comparisons, but Storm wins. I mean, we know Storm did outstanding figures with the 7-inch, 8-inch type figures with, Street Fighter, with Tekken, with Mortal Kombat. So we know, their past history. But man, this 6-inch Storm Arena foray might change the game. I mean, it really might because these figures are outstanding. These are $100 type Mayfex type, even better than Mayfex because the plastics for me and the size, the scaling for Mayfex is a little odd, a little strange sometimes. But these figures, I want to call it perfection. I really, really do. We can debate in the comics and you let me know in the comments and you let me know, how you're feeling. But for me, I'm feeling almost perfection with this. If not 10 out of 10. But with that said, we have Storm Arena, we have Ryu in his box, we have a head, we have an effect, we have a belt, which is just about all I can see. We have the Street Fighter Alpha 3. And to be fair, Jada's doing a different, not just the classic type Street Fighter, but this is Alpha 3, and Alpha 3's sprites look better, to me in the Street Fighter series. But enough about that. Street Fighter Alpha 3, Ryu, go. Some game level type stuff, the Aism, which was one of the styles you could use for your combat. Side of the box, nice little art. Same picture as the front, Alpha 3, Ryu, and the top of the box before we go on. There you go, that's the top and the back. And I mean, even look at their boxes. I mean, compared to a Jada Toys box, which I don't have on hand, you know, they give you some really good action shots of the figure, which, even sells the figure even more. Although this figure doesn't need to be sold. It is what it is at $29.99. It cannot be beat. Game, sprite, Alpha 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots of Ryu, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Storm Collectibles. Have your UPC right there, and that's that. Oh, it's the bottom of the box. Some legalese. All right. So what we're going to do, as usual, we're going to get this figure out of the box and decide whether you want to buy Storm Arena's Street Fighter Alpha 3 Ryu. Okay, here Ryu is out of the box. And Ryu, whatever you call it. Ryu, man, I mean, come on, y'all. I took it out of the box. It didn't look as good as it does in the box as out of the box, but it's still just, you know, top notch. I mean, for the price that they're putting this at helps us survive the collecting game. I mean, this was an excellent effort. Now, let's get into Ryu's accessories. First, we're going to start with this alternate head. Okay. There you go. That's how that looks. I mean, looks like it came right out of the video game. Nothing special. Has a little bandana hole, which I'll put on for you right here. Comes with an extra bandana as well. So that's that plugged into there. And that's the peg. And the paint is on point. everywhere. Looks good. Comes with two Hadouken style hands. There you go. A right and a left for those. No real paint shading, just a little padding on there, and that's about it. Okay. So there you go for that. And it comes with this Hadouken shot type effect. All right. Now, let's get into his articulation. As for his articulation, we have looks up that far. His chest is a little bit bent back. So, with that said, he can look up really good. Look down. Body moves as well, but you can see he can bury his chin almost. 360. The neck moves independently of the head. We have some tilt. Give him a little attitude. The hair is a little bit flexible. And like I said, he has his bandana, which is flexible as you can see. Turns 360. Then we have butterflies. You know what? I'll take the shirt off and we'll see even better. The gi comes off like this. It's a little snap, a little attachment, plugs into both belt and shirt. Belt goes around, attaches again. Very nice and very easy to get off. Okay, so I'll show you on camera how easy this is to get off. His hand came off, but it may come off when you take it off. All right. So there you go. Took his both his hands off, and both of them fell down. So I'm gonna have to pause really quick. All right, here Ryu is out, and here's the gi out. Very flexible rubber type plastic storm classic material. So that should hold up really well. Okay. Now let's get into his articulation. So his articulation is as follows. Shoulders go up that far. Okay. You can rotate 360. Okay. He has the rubber type style famous storm chest. Okay. He has rotation at the bicep, double jointed elbows. His hands want to come off fairly easily, but I guess you could tighten that up a little bit. Okay. Double jointed elbows that far. Okay. He has butterfly, which comes in this far, which looks very odd from the top, but if you're posing the figure just right, you might not get that oddity. Okay. They come in that far and they go back that far. And as you can see, the symmetry to the muscles is, once again, damn near perfection. Has a little bit of a gap right here, as you can see, but he has joint up here to rotate and a little bit of crunch, but not very much. And he also has twist, like I said there, twist here, and he has a little ab crunch right there to give him that perfect ab crunch. Okay, so how it looks from the back. That's how it looks from the front. All right, and that's without bending his torso. I mean his waist. Okay. Did I miss anything in that articulation? No. Double jointed, no rotation there. The cuff comes off, and so does the armband. Hands. These hands want to give me a problem. They really, really do. You know what? They could have upped the price and just gave us some folding arms. That would have been, even more of perfection. But that's how that joint looks for the elbow. See that there. And from the side, the musculature, abs. Waist drops down, kicks up that far, out that far. I'm sure you can do the splits without any issue from the way that joint is manufactured. There you go. It's only right for you to be able to do the splits. Rotation at the upper thigh. Both sides, same thing. Double jointed knees. Nice smooth joint. Goes that far. Ugly at the way it looks, but it's effective. All right. Now, and I didn't show how far it goes back when it's kicked back. Okay. So it goes back that far. And let's see our hinge. Hinge. We have a toe hinge. We have hinge, which goes down that far and up that far. And we have our pivot. Very generous. Okay. So some hell of a articulation, which all figures should be at this particular point. So maybe they need to foray into the Marvel license. That would be great, but I don't think they can get it. All right. So let's get him in a nice little pose and show off his articulation. This figure is an action figure poser's dream. I mean, look at that. And, like I said, I'm not the greatest poser. And it just took me a couple seconds to put this together and get him to balance on that one foot. So, I mean, I'm sure he can do a kick and still balance on that one foot with the same. That joint's a little ugly, though, but hey, it is what it is, man. Can't have everything perfect, I guess. So, I guess it can't be a 10 out of 10 with that ugly joint like that. But let's see if I can get it to pose on camera with this kick. And there you go. So, you can always rotate that joint to get a little bit better pull. So, but I'm just saying, the pulls on one foot without a lot of effort is incredible. All right, let's do what you came here for, the comparisons. Okay, for my first comparison, it's going to be this Storm Collectibles Ryu, Evil Ryu to be exact. So, you always hear people complain about the new Hulk series Maximum with the rubber material. Now, of course, it depends on how the material is crafted, how long the longevity is going to last. But these Storm figures I've had for years, and none of them have degraded over time. Now, once again, I don't play with figures all the time. So if you do, maybe they may start to crack, but I think it really depends on the quality, like I said, of the materials, the temperature in the room. It's a lot of variables that go into it. So I think Hulk's chest should last because all of these Storm figures chests have last. But once again, I don't pose all the time. Now, as you can see in the scale, and as you can see, he can almost cross his arms and get that iconic Ryu pose at the when he wins a fight. But Evil Ryu compared to Storm Collectibles Arena, you can see the scale is much better for us 6-inch collectors. This was out of scale, like an 8, maybe 9-inch figure. So, matter of fact, we can do a ruler and can tell you exactly. Now, he's not standing straight up, but he's almost 7 3/4, so not quite 8. But it just looks out of scale with a 6-inch figure. You have to get a lot of posing. So with that said, let's move on to the next comparison. Once again, I just think the scaling is perfect, especially with these bigger figures from Storm. To go for Arena to go back and put them all in the 6-inch scale, I think Zangief is a big enough figure where this scale fits him perfectly. And as you can see, he looks fantastic with Storm Arena. It's crazy to say, but Zangief, I mean, Storm Sagat might be too damn big, but he's supposed to be 7'4" in the Street Fighter listing. So, I mean, is this 7'4"? So almost double his height, so not quite, but yeah, he might be too big, but it's one of the best damn figures I've ever purchased in my life. I mean, this figure was it looked just like the video game. But I have another Sagat figure, and we'll see how he scales with this Storm Arena figure. Okay, so here he is with the Jada Sagat. The Storm Sagat should be out or arriving soon. I don't know which one. When I saw it on some of the sites, it wasn't in stock for me. So, I saw some people had it. So, you know, this is the Jada, and you can see how he scales as opposed to the giant of the Storm collectibles. So this scales better. You know what I mean? That other figure might be too big, but like I said, he's supposed to be 7'4", so he is a giant. But here you are with Jada Sagat and Arena Ryu. And here he is with the ultimate ass kicker and Bison. Now, as you can see, this Bison is once again the Storm collectibles. He's made out of all the rubber and things like that, and they have not degraded over time. And I've had him for years. This is how he looks with him. And Bison is thicker, but not so tall, but he's a wider character. So this could work if you fudged it, but he's still a little bit out of scale. So Storm Arena can make all of these figures, and I would buy them. And here he is with one of the smaller characters from the Marvel Universe. This is the Jada Sagat. Now, as you can see, this Bison is once again the Storm collectibles. He's made out of all the rubber and things like that, and they have not degraded over time. And I've had him for years. This is how he looks with him. And Wolverine. There was a Street Fighter versus Marvel. So, Street Fighter versus X-Men. X-Men. So this is how he would scale with him. And I'll move him over so you can take a look at that. I'm not going to stand him straight up, but that's how he would look with that new two-pack Wolverine. All right. And this is more of a standard Marvel Legends body, the Vulcan type body. So this shows you how he looks with that. Okay. And Scott is a little bit bigger. So, Cyclops gives you an idea. This is Jaded Ken, and you can see the difference in the textures, the coloring, the shading and things. I mean, these figures are not bad, and especially for their price, I want them to stay where they are. But the arena figure is just better. Now, I did not pick up the arena Ken. I kept putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. Now it's sold out, and now I'm going to have to pay over. So there you go. Are you good? All right, here we are with my final comparison. Jada Ryu. And as you can see, he looks, let me come in a little closer for you so you can see the head sculpts. He looks good. He just doesn't look as good as Storm Marine. There's no way you can tell me that you think this is better than this. Even for the price point, it is almost the same price. He has his gi comes off. I'm not going to take it off. His gi comes off, but his musculature, as you can see, is not as perfect as this. Now, granted, his joints are a little ugly, but these joints are, about the same. The face is not the same because this is supposed to be alpha and this is supposed to be standard Street Fighter. Neither one of them. This looks more like that game than this looks like the original Street Fighter. Let's just be honest. Okay. The shading, the textures, like I said, for the price point, they knocked it out of the park. I really appreciate them for making everybody else step it up and lower the price. Okay. Let's not take anything away from Jada. Slide back a little bit. Let's not take anything away from Jada. They need to do what they've done. But this is a better figure. And every figure after this will be better. I don't have the Ken, but I will get it and I will do a review. So there you are. This is how he looks from the back. And this is how he looks from the back. Okay. There you go. Should you pick up Storm Arena? You better because Ken sold out fast, and I'm sure Ryu will do the same. I don't know who's more popular between Ken and Ryu. For me, I'm a Ken guy more than I'm a Ryu guy, but I never really could choose between the two. But if I had to choose in my heart of hearts, I would go with Ken. Even though Ryu's more of a natural kung fu artist and things, I gotta go with Ken. His power set and his style, just seem to fit me better. All right, but they're basically the same type of fighter with their skills. The Hadouken, Ryuken, whatever these things are called, the fist, the kick, you know, but enough about that. I've ran it long enough and I've glazed long enough and gave them their props. These two companies have changed the game for action figures, but Hasbro seems to be ignoring the fact that these two figures are changing the game and lowering the price and giving us quality figures for those prices. But enough about that. As always, I'm for the love of toys. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'll do a giveaway. I bought an extra Ryu. Maybe I'll give him away. I'm trying to get my subscribers up. You know, so with that said, as always, whatever you do, do it for the love, and I'll see you in the next one.